晚欲初春小雨，天街小雨润如酥，草色遥看近却无。最是一年春好处，绝胜烟柳满皇都。
Word for word translation. 天之 light rain is crisp. The grass color looks close, but nothing. The most beneficial thing is spring, victory over Yanyu Man Huandu. Sense for sense translation. A drizzle moistens the broad street, so fine. Greenness peers afar, but near there's no sign. This part of spring is the best of the year. Misty willows grow in the capital here.
Creative background. This poem was written in the early spring of the third year of Emperor Mizong's Changqing 823, when Han Yu was 56 years old and served as the servant of the government. At this time, he had just been valued by the emperor for successfully quelling the rebellion in Zhengzhou, now Jiangding, Hebei. He was promoted from the servant of the army to the highest official position in his life, and he was happy and full of enthusiasm for life. Although he was nearly 60 years old, he did not indulge in the sentimentality of the passage of time, but welcomed spring with a full of interest attitude, showing a positive outlook on life. The title of the poem is Early Spring Shows Zhongxi Wangwaiyi of the Ministry of Water, which is written to Zhang Ji, a friend of the then Ministry of Water. Han Yu asked Zhang Ji to travel with him to enjoy spring, but Zhang Ji refused too old and busy, so Han Yu wrote this poem as a gift, intending to inspire friends to visit through the beauty of early spring. The poem implies praise for the vitality of life and new things, and also implies an exhortation to friends not to lose the spring light. Han Yu, as the leader of the ancient literary movement in the Tang Dynasty, advocated that the text should carry the truth, but this poem breaks through the tradition with fresh brushstrokes, reflecting his creative concept of the pen supplements the good fortune, refining the natural beauty through subjective artistic processing, and giving the ordinary scenery philosophical interest. This contrasts with the trend of late spring in the poetry circle at that time, demonstrating his innovative consciousness. First analysis. Tianji light rain is crisp. Imagery and metaphor. Tianji refers to Chang'an City Avenue, which integrates the royal atmosphere into the daily street scene. Moist as crispy describes the touch of spring rain with the delicate and smooth of animal fat, which echoes Tu Fu's moisturizing things and silent, and strengthens the precious and nourishing power of spring rain through taste association, the sweetness of crispy cheese. Significance of innovation. Breaking through the singleness of traditional spring rain imagery, he uses synesthesia to blend vision, touch, and taste, reflecting Han Yu's language skills of the scene that is difficult to write as it is now. The grass color looks close, but nothing. Philosophical concept. In the distance, the grass color is like light green smoke, but in the near view, there are only sporadic shoots, which is in line with the dialectical view of Taoism's existence and non-existence, and also echoes Wang Wei's Zen meaning of green mist entering and seeing nothing. Scientific observation accurately capture the optical phenomenon when grass spots germinate in early spring. The refraction of rain makes the grass color develop from a long-distance perspective and dissipates due to direct light at close range. This scientific and poetic unity shows Han Yu's sharp and deep observation. The most beneficial thing is spring, value judgment. Contrary to the aesthetic norm of the Tang people's preference for late spring flowers, he proposed that the hazy vitality of early spring is better. This choice not only stems from the praise of new potential, but also alludes to Han Yu's own life state of being old, but still enterprising. Emotional progression. The word most reinforces subjective evaluation in a categorical tone, sublimating the objective description of the first sentences into a philosophical declaration, echoing the emotional intensity of his literary claims that if it is not fair, it will sound. Victory over Yanliu Manhuandu, Comparative Earth. By contrasting the brightness and prosperity of late spring smoke willows with the elegance and subtlety of early spring, through the contrast of visual density sparse and overflowing, and color saturation, light green and dark green, the unique aesthetic of the beauty of birth is better than the prosperity of maturity is highlighted. Metaphorical extension. Yanliu Manhuandu alludes to the worldly pursuit of fame and fortune, while Han Yu expresses his ambition with absolute victory, cherishing natural authenticity and spiritual freedom more, which is in line with his indifference to officialdom in his later years. Poetry artistic characteristics. The artistic conception of virtual reality. The whole poem takes the grass color of seeming, but notice the core image, and constructs the ethereal beauty of Chinese painting leaving white space. This not seeming like brushwork not only conforms to the phenological characteristics of early spring, but also implies praise for the implicit power of life. Scientific observation and poetic refinement. Han Yu turned the light refraction phenomenon in physics, the difference between the distance and proximity of grass color, into poetic expression, realizing the perfect integration of natural science and humanities and arts, confirming his liberal arts and science style. The courage to reform traditions. Unique in the flamboyant poetic style of the late Tang Dynasty, he created an aesthetic paradigm in early spring with simple pen and ink, which directly influenced the creation of similar themes, such as Sushi Spring River Plumbing Dark Prophet in the Song Dynasty. 初春小雨，天街小雨热如酥，草色遥看近却无。最是一年春好处，绝胜烟柳满皇都。A drizzle moistens the broad street, so fine. Greenness peers afar, but near there's no sign. This part of spring is the best of the year. Misty willows green the capital here.